Hello. So she got the gold. Wonder what will happen. At that time, Eva was lying on her bed, covered by the bedding. Hideyoshi returned from the washroom, holding a handkerchief soaked in water.
こら、ずいぶんひどい熱や。
I wonder what will happen.
きっと、親族会議のどっけにやられてもうたんやな。今はもう、他の親族たちのことは全部忘れるんや。な。
As Hideyoshi spoke to her kindly, he set the soaked handkerchief on Eva's burning forehead. Eva rested her own hand on top of his.
あなたの手、ひんやりして気持ちいい。
わしの手が気持ちいいようじゃ、だいぶ熱が出とるな。安心せえ。すぐに薬が効いてくるわ。それにな、わしの手は魔法の手なんや。こうしてエヴァの額に手を当てとるとな、どんな熱も立ちどころに治ってしまうんや。
そうね。あなたの手で私の熱が引かなかったことは一度もないものね。
そうや。わしの手があれば医者いらずやで。安心して目をつむるんや。すぐにわしの魔法でぐんぐん熱が下がるからな。
うん、知ってる。あなたの魔法を感じるもの。
Hideyoshi was about to say it was just a placebo effect, but he stopped. Eva said she could feel magic coming from his hand, and that was fine for now.
魔法って本当にあるのかしら。
おお、あるで。信じる者にしかわからへんけどな。そういう魔法は案外世の中にたくさんあるもんや。
魔法が実在するなら、やっぱり魔女も実在するのかしら。
ん？森の魔女ベアトリーチェのことかいな。信じる者にはおるやろな。神様と同じや。信心深い人の前にしか姿を現さんのや。
私もね、昔魔法が使えたの。
ほう、ほんまかいな。じゃあお前も魔女やったんやな。
私がね、絶対に叶えたい夢があって、それを強く願って努力すると、それは必ず叶ったの。私はその魔法でいつも成績は一番だったし、生徒会長にだってなったし、入りたい大学にも実力で入れたし、いつだってどんな願いだって叶えてきたわ。
そうやな。お前の魔法はいつだって大したもんや。お前は確かに魔女や。そして誰にも負けん努力家や。わしゃよう知っとるで。
私ね、子供の頃からずっと心の中にもう一人の自分がいて、そしてその自分は魔女だったわ。森の魔女ベアトリーチェなんて信じなかった。もし六軒島に魔女がいるとしたら、それは私の心の中の魔女のことだってずっと信じてきた。その魔女の自分に私はすごい感謝してる。あなたに出会わせてくれてよかったなっていつも感謝してる。
病気の時のお前はいつも気弱すぎや。今は何も言わんで熱が下がるまでずーっとこうしてるからな。
うん、絶対に手を離さないでね。なんだか私、自分が自分でなくなるような気がして、さっきから怖いの。私の中の魔女がベアトリーチェに触発されてどんどん強くなるような気がして、なんだか私を飲み込んでしまいそうな気がするの。
大丈夫や。わしが一緒にいる限り なあ、もう恐れることなんてあらへん。ほら、ちょいとヤバめな国に旅行に行った時、バスごと強盗にあったことあったやろ。わしが撃退したんやで。
あなた金時計を渡して拝み倒しただけだったじゃない。かっこ悪いけどかっこよかったわ。この手絶対に離さないでね。眠っても絶対に離さないでね。そして何か不気味なものが忍び込んできても私を守ってね。
おう、任せとかんかい。だから今は安心して眠るんやで。すぐに薬とわしの魔法が効いてくるからな。
Eva finally calmed her heart and closed her eyes. At that time, there was the sound of a door being opened violently from the direction of the lobby. It seemed that Maria was having a tantrum, and screams of "Ooh, ooh" could be heard, along with Rosa's rebuking yells. It probably hurt Eva's ears, or maybe it was giving her a headache. Eva moaned as though in pain and buried herself in the covers. It was easy to guess what was happening. Maria had probably had a tantrum for some reason, gone down to the lobby, and started arguing with Rosa, who then scolded her daughter. And then, maybe that got too embarrassing to be shown in front of the other relatives, so Rosa had taken Maria out into the corridor. Hideyoshi had no desire to butt in on Rosa and Maria's problem. But just for now, since Eva's condition was so bad, he wanted to take them to take their ruckus somewhere else.
ちょいと待っとれや。静かにするようお願いしてくるわ。
早く戻ってきて。
大丈夫や。この部屋から出んて。
Hideyoshi removed the chain, opened the door, and stuck his face out into the corridor. He immediately met Rosa's
大丈夫
face.
かいな、ローザさん。
ごめんなさい。うるさくして起こしちゃったかしら。
マリアちゃん、ごめんな。エヴァおばさんな、具合が悪くて寝とるんや。すまんが、ちょいと静かにしてもらえるか。
Maria's tone didn't change after Hideyoshi's request. He kept crying, "Ooh, ooh," and repeating, "My Rose, my Rose." Rosa slapped Maria's cheek, lifted her up while covering her mouth, and dragged her towards the entrance, trying to at least put some distance between her and Hideyoshi's room. She would probably still be noisy for a while, but he had warned Rosa for the time being. Relying on Rosa's actions as a mother, Hideyoshi closed the door.
またマリアちゃんが泣いてるの？
そうみたいやな。ローザさんも大変や。それを思えば、うちのジョージは出来すぎや。親が感謝したいくらいやで。
そうね。
おお、すまんすまん。ほら、魔法の手やで。
He put his hand on Eva's forehead again. Maybe there really was magical power in that hand. A truly peaceful look rose to Eva's face, and bit by bit she began to drift off into the land of sleep. As he had promised, Hideyoshi kept his hand on her forehead. By the entrance, with her hand still against Maria's mouth, Rosa was at a loss at what to do next. She hadn't been able to withstand everyone's gazes in the lobby, and had yelled at the children to go upstairs, dashing out of the lobby. Then she had gone out into the corridor, only to have Hideyoshi say that she was too noisy. Where should I go now? Where should I take this child who's having a tantrum? She felt as though tears of frustration were about to come out. As Maria kept struggling in an attempt to scream, Rosa put her mouth up to Maria's ear, and tried to persuade Maria in a properly calm voice.
マリアはそんなにもバラが見たいのね。
Maria nodded her head several times, moaning,
どうしてそんなにバラが見たいの？お母さんが聞いてあげるから静かに話して。叫んだら殴るわよ。
マリアのバラ、ベアドリーチェに蘇らせてもらったの。また折れちゃってるかも。マリアはそれが心配。 確かめないと眠れない。
Apparently, she was still upset about that marked rose from yesterday. Rosa felt her heartache throbbing again, but she was at least a little relieved that Maria had now stopped her screaming.
とにかく
Yeah.
今はみんな大変なの。だからママたちに迷惑をかけないで。バラの話は明日雨が上がったら好きにしていいから。だから今は聞き分けなさい。
やだマリアのベアトリーチェのバラ。
Rosa reflexively covered Maria's mouth. She had spoken a little too harshly and gotten her agitated again. Rosa realized that it was partly her own fault and clicked her tongue in self-hatred. But Maria thought that was directed at her, and her crying grew even fiercer.
お願いだから静かにして。どうしたらあなたは泣き止むの？どうしたらあなたはママの言うことを聞いてくれるの？
Suddenly, Maria stopped crying so fast that it seemed unnatural. Then she turned around and muttered,
マリアのバラを見たらちゃんと明日まで静かにしてるよ。
本当？
うん。バラ庭園に行ってマリアのバラを見たらもうおとなしくする。本当だよ、ママ。
No. If it would keep Maria quiet for the time being, Rosa thought that even going out into this wind and rain would be a small price to pay. She thought it might be a bit reckless. But in the end, no murder or anything of the sort had actually occurred. All that clamor since this morning had been a farce set up by Kinzo. If you carefully thought about that chain of closed rooms, clearly it had to all be an act.
本当にバラを見たらもうおとなしくする？
うん、本当だよ、ママ。
Rosa didn't overlook that creepy laugh and lightly hit Maria with her fist. She shrugged, as though giving up.
わかったわ。一目見たら納得するのよ。いいわね。
うん、ママ。約束する。
Once again, Rosa tested the weight of her gun. It'll be okay. It's only an act. There was never a murderer on this island in the first place.
くそ、待てよローザおばさん。ローザおばさんとマリアが第二の番の犠牲者なのか。くそくそくそ、誰か気づけよ、呼び止めろ。今の親父たちや俺たちは何をしてるんだ。
ローザ親子の痛々しい関係に気を使ってわざわざ話題を変えておるぞ。そなたらも2階へ上がりテレビを見ながら話題を変えておる。
くそったれ、誰か気づけよ。一番近くにいるのは誰だよ。頼むよ、玄関から2人が出ていくのを気づいてくれよ。
届かん届かん。2人のささやかな時間を邪魔してくれるな。
Hideyoshi kept talking kindly, his hand on Eva's forehead. He didn't notice at all that Rosa and Maria were going outside through the front door. In that case, there was no way that others in the lobby, which was even further away, would notice. Much less those in the cousin's room on the second floor.
そなたは何を慌てておるのか。第一の番にて犯人は事故死したとの大胆な察してみてわらわを打ち破ったではないか。ならばもうこの島に犯人はおらぬことになるぞ。何を心配する必要があるというのか。
うるせえよ、しらしらしいんだよ。誰か引き止めろ、2人が殺されるんだ。誰か止めろ。
There was no way that Bador's voiceless scream would have reached Rosa or Maria. The two of them could be seen in the rose garden. The rain was still awful, but fortunately the wind had died down a little. No, maybe that wasn't fortunate. because maybe, if the wind had been a little fiercer, Rosa might have hesitated to go outside. Maria found her rose with the gold lace and stared at it lovingly. Rosa had accepted the promise under the condition that Maria would only get one look at it, but she didn't want Maria to complain that it hadn't been enough later on, so she decided to go along with Maria until she was satisfied. She believed that there wasn't a culprit, but on the off chance that she was mistaken, they were now in an extremely dangerous position. Rosa realized that faintly herself. If things got bad, she would throw away her umbrella and ready her gun. After glancing at Maria's innocent happiness, Rosa gazed warily in all directions. Were her eyes just tired? Even though no one should have been there, she thought she saw something glitter in the dark rose garden. Gold color. It had to be her imagination, because to Rosa, it seemed as though gold butterflies were dancing through the rose bushes.
大丈夫かエヴァ、無理せんでやっぱり南條先生を呼んでこんか。
大丈夫だから、この手を離さないで、お願いだから離さないで。
Eva was breathing wildly. Beads of sweat were appearing on her forehead. Certain it was true that she had stayed up all night last night, and that things had been rough since early this morning. It wasn't odd that her body wasn't keeping up. Even though he understood that, Hideyoshi suspected that the sudden fever was the sign of some serious illness. Several times, Hideyoshi decided to call for Dr. Nanja, but Eva resisted firmly, pleading with him and saying that it was even more important that he didn't take his hand away.
わかった。でもな、お昼になったら必ず南條先生に見てもらうんやで。それを約束できるならずっとここにいてお前の手を握ったるからな。こうして気がったな。
ありがとう。大丈夫よ。あなたの手の魔法で必ずこんな熱なんか下がっちゃうから。
Even as she said that, Eva's harsh breathing didn't improve in the slightest.
離さないで。離さないで。誰？
She saw an umbrella moving from beyond the rose bush. Rosa threw away her umbrella and wildly lifted her gun. When she did, the shadow of a person beyond the bush showed itself.
エヴァおばさん。
びっくりしたわ。姉さんなの？何かご用？さっきの話の続きなの？
ええ、そうよ。お父様の黄金の話よ。
お願いだからマリアの前では遠慮して。ちゃんと約束は守ってるわよ。姉さんの悪巧みの邪魔はしないわ。
悪巧み？何それ？
姉さんが何を考えていても勝手よ。私は邪魔する気なんてない。だからマリアの前では許して。私は分け前さえもらえれば十分なの。
分け前？
Eva started laughing in a creepy voice. Rosa was startled, but Maria stared blankly. Then Maria said just one thing.
おばさん、誰？ 私のもの。この黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェのものよ。
エヴァ、大丈夫か？エヴァ、エヴァ、エヴァ。
握っていて、離さないで。私じゃない誰かに連れ去られないように。私の手を握っていて、離さないで。
お前が何を努力したの？何も努力してない。いつも私たちの影に隠れてのらりくらり。いつも戦わずに影から影へと逃げ回っていたお前に、後ろ宮家の黄金を無心する資格など本当にあると思ってるの？あれは全て私のもの。後ろ宮家当主にして新しき黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェの名を継承した私だけのもの。ベアトリーチェ、ベアトリーチェだ。ママ、ベアトリーチェ。
Maria jumped at her mother in ecstasy. Rosa treated Maria cold-heartedly and raised her gun high.
姉さんよね。姉さんなのよね。
違うわ。私はもはやあなたの姉であった存在ではないの。
じゃああんた誰なのよ。ベアトリーチェだとでも言うの？そんなはずはない。あんたは19年前に死んだのよ。ええ、確かに死んでいたわ。だって私、あなたの頭が割れているところをはっきり見たもの。その中身が溢れ出しているのを昨日のことのように思い出せる。そのあんたがどうして生きてここにいるのよ。
黄金の魔女に死の概念などないの。黄金の魔女とベアトリーチェの名は永遠に受け継がれてゆくわ。お前が知っていたベアトリーチェは死を迎えたかもしれないが、今やそれは私の名である。故に無限。ベアトリーチェに死の概念はないの。
あの黄金に気が触れたとしか思えない。哀れね、姉さん。
もはや私はお前の姉ではないというのに。さて、新しきベアトリーチェとして自らの復活の儀式を引き継ぐわ。ロノウェ、私はどうすればいいの？
ご随意のままに。もはやベアトリーチェ様にはどのような思いも実現できる力がおありです。少し扱えばなれるでしょう。
不甲斐なき元妹よ。私が魔女として初めて捧げる最初の生贄に選ばれたことを、第2の晩に寄り添う二人を私がこの手で引き裂く。
First thing new Beatrice wished for. No, the first magic she tried to use was to surpass the limitations given to humans. In particular, gravity. She wanted to become fully aware of her transformation into a witch by being released from those shackles. As the witch and Rosa stayed as they were, the ground retreated all by itself into the distance below them. By now, their feet were no longer attached to the ground. Rosa finally realized that the earth wasn't retreating into the distance below them, but that she and the witch were being sucked up into the rainy sky. For a human shackled to the ground by gravity, there is nothing more unnerving than having their feet stop sticking to the ground. However, to Beatrice, who in becoming the new witch, had learned the joy of being released from gravity, it was enough to make her whole body shake with delight.
ねえローザ、昔小さい頃魔女になって空が飛べたらなって話したことあるの覚えてる？叶ったよ。私が本当の魔女になって叶えてあげたわ。
やめてよ。夢なら覚めて。
あなた言ったわ。夢の中で空を飛んだって。そして覚めたくなかったとも言ったわ。起こした私を恨んだともね。安心して、今度は覚めないわよ。いや
Come, dance with me in the vast, rainy sky. Didn't we both wish we could fly like seagulls in the sky and escape the cramped and boring island of Rakahima? Now, I'll make that dream a reality for you. I only want to share this joy with you and no one else.
私たちのお屋敷ってあんなにも小さいわ。あんな小さな場所で私たちはどれほどの長い時を過ごしたのかしら。その狭さとちっぽけさに今こそ本当に呆れるわ。だからこそ感じて、楽しんで、喜んで。私たちが憧れた大空を自由にする力を。さあ踊ろうよ、ローザ。雨の中を、風の中を。私たちは踊るように飛び回ろう。稲光が私たちを照らして祝福してくれるわ。
The witch and Rosa were like leaves fluttering around in a whirlwind. As the rain pounded upon every part of their bodies, as the lightning occasionally shone upon them, they shook with the joy of being released from the ground. However, it was only that way for the witch. Rosa was holding onto her head, voicelessly screaming over and over. A slightly displeased expression rose to the witch's face when she realized that her own joy was not being shared. Then she decided to listen to her former sister's request. The whirlwind that had been making Rosa dance around grew weaker and stopped. In other words, Rosa was once again bound by the restrictions of gravity as a human. Following the laws that were originally correct, Rosa began to descend towards the ground upside down. No, she began to fall. The witch hadn't intended to send Rosa plummeting, but she still wasn't used to using magic. After plummeting about 100 meters into a rose bush, as a very, very natural result, Rosa died instantly. But the witch hadn't intended to kill her, so she wished that Rosa hadn't died. When she did, gold butterflies coiled about Rosa's body, reviving that life just as the witch had wished. Rosa's body, which should have been spread out like a carpet of fresh blood, rapidly returned to normal. The broken and crushed bones returned to normal. The torn and smashed flesh returned to normal. How easy it is to break things in this world, and how difficult it is to fix them. Anyone can take a life, but no human can revive a lost life. By surpassing the irreversible, one proves that they have surpassed humanity. This surely gave her a much, much greater realization of her position as a witch rather than flying through the sky had.
もちろんですと。ベアトリーチェ様はすでに無限の魔女であらせられます。生きることも死すことも生かすことも殺すことも全ては無限に繰り返される。その輪廻を支配する女王こそが無限の魔女であられるベアトリーチェ様なのです。
金魚鉢を落としたことがあるわ。涼しげな美しい鉢が割れてしまって二度と元に戻らなかった。床に叩きつけられた可愛いデメキンは二度と泳ぐ姿を見せてくれなかった。私がいくら泣いても使用人たちは壊れたものと死んだものは蘇らせられないと首を横に振ったっけ。あの時学んだのよね。物は壊しちゃいけない。 人は殺しちゃいけないって。だって直せないんだもん。じゃあ直せるなら壊しても怒られないということでしょ。すごいすごいすごいすごい。
For a while, the witch became intoxicated with how terrible and wonderful the power she had inherited was. Her laugh was pure, innocent, and cruel. Even though Rosa had been revived, she let out a cry of anguish at the pain from her fall. At that point, the witch landed and held out her hand.
すまないわね、ローザ。空を飛ぶのがこんなに楽しいとは思わなかったわ。ごめんなさい。本当にごめんなさい。そして人間がこんなにもろく死ぬとも知らなかったの。でも生き返らせてあげたからもう平気。だから起きて。私ともっと遊びましょう。
What were those dreams you told me about when you were a kid? Go ahead and tell me all of them without holding back. As I am now, I can make anything come true, no matter how absurd. Even drowning you in a sea of jelly, even having you get sucked into a mountain of cake. I can even make you sprout butterfly wings and flit around the gardens, okay? I'll do them one after another. Let's start with the ocean of jelly, alright? Rosa was once again thrown high into the rainy sky. However, the sky wasn't filled with raindrops, but with drops of orange juice. When she looked down, Rosa had to doubt her eyes. The rose garden had disappeared, and the ground spread out beneath her was like a pastel-colored jigsaw puzzle. It was an ocean of jelly, like the one she had spoken of from her dreams when she was young. The black part was coffee jelly, the red was strawberry, the yellow was pineapple, and the green was melon. What was the white part? Apple? Did Rosa even have the time to think and stuff like that? Rosa fell towards that multicolored ocean. Oh, she sunk deep into a purple grape-flavored sea. It really was an ocean of jelly. It had no bottom. As Rosa sank, she was shocked to see a school of transparent fish swimming through the grape jelly ocean. They were probably made of grape skin. Then she sunk on and on, deeper and deeper, as deep as the Mariana Trench, crushed by the water pressure of the jelly ocean as her ribs snapped and her spine snapped. In the end, she became a small, frail meatball. The instant I snapped my fingers, the meatball that had been Rosa was launched up into the sky. And after being wrapped up in a golden sparkle, she returned to her original form. It was as simple and easy as her turning dried seaweed to its original form, and anyone could do it. If they were a witch, that absent-minded look on Rosa's face has to be the joy from having that dream she gave up on as a child come true. Definitely. Probably. Next is the mountain of cake. In an instant, the sky was covered and became black and white in the shape of a chessboard. That almost transparent white part was her favorite rare cheesecake. The elegant black part was a slightly bitter gâteau et chocolat. That became the ceiling, became a mountain, and several billion cakes were thrown down towards Rosa. If you piled those cakes up, they would surely be taller than Mount Everest. So they probably weighed, I'm not too sure, but I'll bet it was heavier than all the cakes across Japan put together. All this was going on in the yard outside of the mansion. It fell down like a ceiling and swallowed Rosa up. So as a very, very natural result, Rosa was crushed to death. In less than a second, her bones broke throughout her body and her insides were all smashed and forced out. Wish pop swap. And even so, an even greater number of cakes piled up on top, and Rosa ended up as a layer of jam wedged between them. She became as thin as a single hair, and was probably spread out over the area of a tennis court. Her swallowed up by a cake was once again absorbed by a cold flash. Disturbing imagery. Then, as though it had all been a dream, Rosa was revived once again. Of course, it definitely wasn't a dream. She had been revived after dying. By that point, death, which most humans only have to experience once after they were born, had already been experienced repeatedly by Rosa. In other words, she'd gone through that which humans cannot. The precious experience of dying more than once. 'Laughing innocently, she pointed her gold staff at Rosa as she begged for mercy. When she did, Rosa glittered gold and rapidly began to shrink. She shrank down to the size of a real butterfly. Then, gold wings sprouted from her back, and she joined her fellow gold butterflies. However, while a human body could withstand that wind, it was a different matter for a butterfly's body. The gold butterfly Rosa was invited to dance by each gale of wind, and she spun in circles around the rose garden. As her dance wore out, she was caught by a gentle bed. It was a soft knit hammock in the shadows beneath the roof of the arbor. The owner of that hammock lumbered into view, welcoming its rare guests who had wandered in on the night of a storm. That owner, which should have been small enough to crush the palm of your hand, now looked as big as the top of a canopy bed to Rosa.
あいつやるな。実に自由に魔法を使いこなす。面白い面白い面白い面白い。バトラも笑えるだろう。
ふざけんな、もう止めろ。何が楽しいんだよ。おかしい、てめえおかしいぞ。こんなことをして何が楽しいってんだ。
あんなに楽しそうじゃないかよ。無理もない。魔法は楽しいもんな。思い出すよ。わらわも魔法が使えるようになった時はすっごくはしゃいだもんさ。ああ、わかるぜわかるぜ。あのはしゃぎっぷりが心の底からわかるさ。この喜びや感動、バートラには共感できないんだろうな。ああ、残念残念。バトラだってわらわを認めればいつだって魔法を教えてやるぞ。 人間の束縛を逃れた瞬間の喜びは筆舌に尽くしがたい。そなたに教えてやりたいよ、あの喜び、あの感動。そなたの生み出す魔法の世界もぜひ一度見てみたいものだ。楽しくなってきただろう。魔法が使いたくなってきただろう。魔女もなかなかに楽しいものであるぞ。そなたには特別に教えてやる。一緒に空を飛ぶ喜びとか、一緒に海を潜る喜びとか、人間の制約を超えた瞬間に知る世界がどれほどに広かったのかという感動をそなたにも教えてやる。
There was no malice in Bito's expression. It was hard to believe, but she was genuinely enjoying this cruel show, and she wanted to share that appreciation with Badwer. Badwer was shocked by that hopelessly different sense of values.
信じられねえ。もうやめろ、チキシャー！ワルギリア、このおかしな茶番を止めさせるんだ。どうすりゃいいんだ。
私たちは万外の存在です。万丈には触れられません。
Virgilia shook her head. Oh, Virgilia shook her head apologetically. Her body had already been killed. Did that mean she couldn't interfere in any way? As Beatrice continued to look amused in an insane sort of way, Badwer lifted her up by the collar and yelled at her.
やめろやめろやめろ！いい加減にしろ、魔女め！あれがエヴァおばさんだってのか？ありえない！俺の知ってるエヴァおばさんは確かに意地悪なとこも少しはあったけど、こんな残酷なことをする人じゃ断じてありえない。全てお前のまやかしだ。ローザおばさんをもてあそぶな。エヴァおばさんをもてあそぶな。今すぐこの茶番を止めさせろ。
だからローザと遊んでいるのはもうわらわではないというに、新しきベアトリーチェだというに。そんなにギャーギャーわめくほどに残酷か？そなたもこういうの実は結構好きだろうが。実はちょっぴり魔法に興味を持ってきて。何をする？
For the first time, Badwer slapped Bito's cheek. Beatrice didn't know why he had done something like that to her, and a surprised expression rose to her face. Badwer especially couldn't forgive that expression, and he roared.
これが面白いだ。お前の頭はどうなってんだ。頭を輪切りにしててめえで覗いてみろ。絶対に中身がごっそり抜けているぜ。今すぐやめさせろ。この悪趣味な茶番をやめさせるんだ。俺はお前を許さない。よくもこんな残酷なことを。お前のこと少しでも笑えるやつだと思ったこともあったが、俺はもう二度と勘違いしない。お前はただ残酷なだけの怪物だ。俺の前に現れるな。二度とだ。お前を認めない、お前と話さない、お前の顔など見たくもない。聞こえたか？俺の前に現れるな。お前なんか消えてしまえ。
The instant Badwer screamed, the power that resisted the witch became a red wall and knocked Vito back onto her butt.
なんだというのだ。面白い見物ではないかよ。
She spoke defensively, but the target of those words, Badwer, was no longer there. His figure had suddenly disappeared into the darkness. But Beatrice looked displeased and continued trying to explain herself.
そりゃ確かにちょっとあれかなとは思う。こんなの無邪気ないたずら程度であろう。どう殺そうが結局は生き返らせておるではないか。人間は終わりさえ良ければ何でも良い生き物ではなかったのか。のうお師匠様、そこまでへそを曲げられるものでもあるまいに。
She was hoping for approval, but Virgilia simply faced her with an indifferent expression. To Vito, at that moment, Even an exasperated look would probably have been better.
私から特に言うことはありません。あなたが楽しいと思うならいつまでも見続けていると良いでしょう。終わったら呼びなさい。それまで私も姿を消します。
Following Vador's lead, Virgilia vanished into the darkness. Vito, who was now completely isolated and didn't have a clue what was going on, felt that they were making her out to be the bad guy.
なんだよ。面白いショーじゃないかよ。ちょっとは悪趣味かもしれないけど、割と面白いじゃないかよ。なあ、ロノウェ。そこまで怒るほどじゃないよな。
お嬢様の面白いがバトラ様にも面白いとは限りません。
わらわ
Hello.
嫌われとるか。そりゃ確かに対戦相手だから敵同士ではあるが、座興笑い合いのほどわらわたちは不仲だというのか。バトラと一緒に拍手できたように一緒にゲラゲラ笑い合えると思ったのに、その程度のことすらわらわは拒絶されるというのかよ。魔女だと認めぬのはいいさ。それを競い合うゲームなんだから。でもよ、顔も見ない、話もしないって、無視はいくらなんでもないだろう。わらわはそんなにも嫌われ者なのかよ。
これまでお嬢様は十分に嫌われるだけの指し手をいたしました。悪魔の私でさえバトラ様の気持ちが少しは分かるというもの。それが理解できぬのはお嬢様が特に鈍感が過ぎるのではないかと。
うるさいうるさいうるさいうるさい。お前も消えてしまえ。
はい、かしこまりました。それでは失礼いたします。
Even Renove hid himself in the darkness, and Beatrice was left alone. The only one in the rainy rose garden. No one ever plays with the Lonely Witch, and the fact that no one ever does it is what makes them Lonely Witch. Is what makes them Lonely Witch.
なんでわらわと誰も遊んでくれないんだよ。こんなにわらわは変かよ。誰か返事しろよ。
楽しいね、ローザ。楽しいね。さあ、次は何をして遊ぶ？もちろんマリアも一緒に遊んであげるわ。みんなで仲良くお散歩しよう。煮えたぎるチョコレートの鍋を泳いでケーキ膨らむオーブンの中をピクニックしよう。うわ
の新しきベアトリーチェ。
Behind the witch that was continuing her mad banquet, Vito showed herself. That expression was very rare for her. It was somehow restrained, unreliable, miserable.
これは仙台ベアトリーチェ様、ご覧くださりましたか？魔法の力は本当に素晴らしい。魔女に生まれ変わることができたことを今ほど楽しいと思ったことはありません。まるでいつまでも終わらぬお遊戯の時間のよう。さあ、仙台様もご一緒に遊びましょう。その前にちょっとお待ちになってくださいね。ダリはオーブンの中で焼け焦げて死んでしまったからまた蘇らさないと。まるでイーストで膨れるパンみたいに、オーブンの中で膨れるクッキーみたいに。
話を聞けというのに。そのだな、第二の番の生贄にはもう十分であろう。確かに殺し方については指定がないが、それ以上もてあそぶことはあるまいに。
何をおっしゃいます、仙台様。 さっきロノウェイから聞きましたよ。先代様の魔法はもっともっと素敵で残酷でやりたい放題だったって。6人のお腹からお菓子が溢れ出すハロウィンパーティーなんて本当に素敵。ならば私はアリスのお茶会を演出しようかしら。何でもない日を祝うお茶会にみんなを招待して、私が魔法で次々おもてなしするの。先代様みたいに素敵にできるかしら。個性的に残酷にポップにキュートにできるかしら。今思うとおとぎ話とかってどれも残酷でしたよね。そのおとぎ話の魔女に自らがなってみて、ようやく理解しました。
わらわも以前までのは少しやりすぎたかなと少しは思っておるのだ。まあ黄金の魔女たるもの、少しは気品があっても良いかと思うてな。
先代様が何をおっしゃってるのか分かりません。でも一つだけ分かります。今の私がどれほどを尽くしても先代様の残酷さには到底及びません。もっともっと頑張らなくちゃ。もっと残酷になって立派な黄金の魔女にならなくちゃ。
だからそれはもう十分だというに。とにかくわらわの先代としての命令だ。第2の番はもう十分だ。わらわが少し手本を見せる。下がって見ておれ。
はい、先代様。どんな無残で残酷でおぞましい殺し方を見せてくれるのか楽しみです。
The new witch grasped the sides of her skirt and gave a graceful bow, stepping back as an expectant gaze rose to her face. She was expecting an even more cruel magic that surpassed even herself.
まあ、そういう殺し方しかできないうちは半人前なのだ。わらわが上品な黄金の魔女らしい殺し方を見せよう。
When Vito waved her pipe, 7 colors of smoke poured out, reviving Rosa and Maria. Compared to how the new Beatrice had done it a short while ago, it was slightly gentler. It was probably gentler than how Vito had done it herself up until now. Rosa's consciousness had already grown dim from the pain of so many repeated deaths, but even so, she pleaded that her daughter be spared.
許してせめてマリアだけでも許して。
すまない、我が弟子が少し羽目を外しすぎたようだ。許せ。
Maria realized it was the real Beatrice. She jumped onto her.
あとは約束したよね。マリアを黄金郷へ連れてってくれるって約束したよね。そこへ連れて行ってくれるって約束してくれたよね。
そのだな。その約束はもう守れぬ。碑文の謎を解く者が現れたから、わらわはもう黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェではないのだ。だからすまぬ。そなたとの約束はもう守れぬ。
なんでどうしてヘアとは約束してくれた。
すまぬ。本当にすまぬ。だからせめて約束を守れなかった詫びに。
Give you a quiet sleep that will never be disturbed again. Vito embraced Maria with a loving expression on her face. Then, softly, a red bruise appeared on Maria's neck. It was a very gentle bruise. Its redness grew bit by bit, and when it distinctly formed itself into the shape of a hand, Maria's neck tilted suddenly, peacefully, as though she had fallen asleep.
マリ
そなたが第二の番の生贄であることは謝らない。そういう運命なんだから。しかしその捧げ方が悪趣味であったことはこれが最後のものだ。もう二度と妨げられることはない。
Ito softly, gently lifted her finger, as though touching the empty air in front of her nose. When she did, a light breeze lifted up, making Rosa's body dance lightly like a feather. Then, Rosa's body floated softly, and right there was the garden fence with its spear-shaped prongs. The spear of the fence pierced Rosa's medulla oblongata. Inevitably, without toying with her in a single blow, Rosa's life was snapped out. Compared to the earlier innocent yet cruel events, it seemed to be over much too fast. It just looked like a doll shaped like Rosa was leaning against the fence. But she had passed away. Oh, naughty little child.
ざっとこんなものよ。
Vito acted proud, but the new witch wore a blank expression, almost as though this was an anticlimax. Then she said it out loud.
なんだか地味です。ロノウェイに聞いていた先代様のそれとは随分違います。
そのだな。魔法は上品に使わねばな。あまり品がないのはエレガントではないのだ。
せっかく素敵なことが無限にできる魔法なのにつまらない。
これ愚痴るでない。黄金の魔女の道は一日にしてならずだ。そなたとて第10の番を終えるまでは半人前よ。今は黙ってわらわの指導に従うのだ。よいな。返事はどうした？返事は。
はーい。
それでよい、それで。まだ復活の儀式の先は長いぞ。あと5人も殺さねばならないからな。あまりもてあそばずに、きれいに、上品に。少しあっさりめでいいからな。ロノウェがそなたに教えたわらわのやり方は、悪い例だ。模範にしてはならぬ。よく心に刻んでおけ。
はい、先代様。
良い返事だ。ロノウェ、煉獄の7姉妹よ。いでよ。
はい、お嬢様。ロノウェ、ここに。
傲慢のルシファー、ここに。
これまではだな。わらは黄金の魔女としての威厳も大事であり、だな。
As Renove laughed at Vito's uncharacteristically flustered speech, he summed it up for her.
かしこまりました。以後は黄金の魔女の名にふさわしい気品に気をつけるようにいたします。煉獄の7姉妹もこれまでのような悪ふざけは改め、以後は最短の手順で任務を遂行するように。ということでよろしいですか、お嬢様。
うん。つまりはそういうことだ。皆肝に銘じよ。よいな。
はい、かしこまりました。
わらわが言いたいのは以上だ。もう引き上げてよいぞ。
かしこまりました。それでは失礼いたします。
失礼いたします。
わらわが言いたいのはそれだけだ。それでは引き続きしっかりな。黄金の魔女らしく貫禄を持って 自重気味にな。頑張るがよいぞ。そなたを見守っておる。
Acting awkwardly until the very end, Vito left that message and immediately became a cloud of gold butterflies, hiding her form in empty air. Maybe it'd be more accurate to say she vanished in a hurry because she couldn't keep up the conversation. After that, all that remained was Maria's corpse, lying down and pounded by the rain, Rosa's corpse propped up by the fence and staring up at the sky, and the figure of the witch.
自重しろ。
Her expression looked just a little bored. There was a popping sound. That was probably her clicking her tongue.
つまんないやつ。
Leaving that last sentence behind, she once again vanished into the empty air. What a naughty child of a girl you are.
Huh. ようやく落ち着いてくれたようやな。
Bye.